Hello everyone, how are you all doing on this fine day? It's going to be a bit of a different stream today than usual. I'm going to try and stay on topic and be a little bit more organised, taking a leaf out of Doc's book, but of course I do have to just say hello. Hey Jeff, great to see you. Great work on the emojis, Keely. Great to see you as well. And hi, Gretchen. How are you doing? Great to see you here as well. So this is going to be a little bit different than my usual total wandering, rambling live streams that I feel like I've been doing. I mean, some people say that they've got value out of them, but I've felt like I've not been on track. And so that's the point of this stream, is to try and get a little bit more organised. And I've come with slides. So today we are talking about my channel tweaks. So things that I've done differently on my channel. And it's not just about what I'm doing with the live stream. It's just about the channel in general, really, and trying to be a little bit more intentional with what I'm doing. Not that I wasn't. I mean, I've always had my goal of my 365 videos in a year. And by the way, I'll be giving my usual update, which I usually do at the beginning. I'll do that at the end because maybe some people don't want to sit through all that. So I'll stick that at the end and update you with where I'm up to with the channel. But for the past, I suppose, couple of months, really, I've felt like although I'm still creating content, I've been a little bit static in what I'm doing in terms of I'm not really innovating as such, and I'm still just doing the same things, albeit, new videos, new content, new things to learn and all that sort of stuff. But in terms of the channel, I haven't actually been doing anything differently from more or less the way that I started. I did do a slight refresh of things at around about video 100, I think, or sometime just after that. But I still didn't really do much in terms of tweaking videos and things like that. So that is what I've been sort of consciously thinking about, having had a good long chat about it with my coach, the wonderful Mr. Doc Rock. So that is what I'm going to be covering in this. And I'm just going to go through and talk about the different things that I've done. I'm not an expert. I don't know if these things are going to work. I'm just letting you all know so that I'm doing it in public and you can judge for yourself. And I will obviously report back with my my findings once I've got some. So the first thing that I have done is actually updated my thumbnails. Now, you may or may not have noticed this because it's not like I've just had some sort of massive departure. But there are a few things that I've done slightly differently to the way that I used to do them in the past. So the easiest way to do this is I'll show you in TubeBuddy, because what I've been doing is running some split tests. So I am just running all of my new videos have obviously got this sort of slightly new style. And when I say new style, it's not really, but let me just show you. If I zoom in on this, perhaps it might make it a little bit easier for you to see. So these are some split tests that I've got running. So there is one, that's actually one of my first style of thumbnails, with that sort of like teal color in the background and that yellow. White on a yellow background was never a great idea, but I just ran with it because recovering perfectionist and all that. I didn't spend as much time as I normally would in actually trying to get all of this perfect. If I was doing this, before starting the channel, I would have been tweaking endlessly over it. So I've deliberately just tried to get something up and then run with it. And so that's what I did. And I've never really got round to refreshing it, but I've never really felt that the white on a yellow background was a great idea. And I'm thinking that actually just does pop out a little bit better. And then I've still got the yellow, but just to sort of add a little accent to some particular words or phrases in the thumbnail. So it's still pretty much the same stupid face, same more or less style. I've moved over this line slightly over to the right to give more space for the words. Yeah, and then somebody, in fact, Caleb. Oh, hey, Caleb, I've just noticed you were just in the chat. Caleb mentioned that when I've got things down in this bottom right-hand corner, it's always actually covered by the timestamp. So although this one is like that, because that's how I'd done it before that comment, I've since sort of moved everything over to be more on the other side. So in fact, if I I'll show you another video, another video thumbnail, what I've started doing. If I just come into this other view down here. So these are some videos that are either up or going up. So the time, you can see, covers that area. It's actually not quite as big on the when it's in the YouTube player, but nevertheless, it does cover that corner. So I've kind of moved that stuff over to the other side. Now, one thing that I always used to have on my thumbnails is I always had this little logo down here. My logo actually on the thumbnail, which it seems a little bit stupid, really, considering that my logo is on the channel name, which appears next to the thumbnail. The reason why I put that on from the beginning was I put my name on there because I've always had this feeling that, like, when I'm scrolling through YouTube, something with somebody's name on it, I actually relate more to, even if I don't know them. If something's got somebody's name, like as the YouTube channel name, then I always relate more to it, like a Nick Nimmin, D Nimmin, things like that. Whereas somebody like Think Media, I can't remember the guy's name. Sean, is it? I can't remember. But I always just had this sense inside that I related more to things that have got somebody's name in the channel name. Now, I didn't want to have my name in the channel name because I wanted it to be, the Take One Tech sort of brand, if you like. And because obviously I wanted it to be relatable to the fact that I do it all in one take, and also that it's tech related, as opposed to just saying Alec Johnson or whatever. So that's why I had that little logo in the bottom corner with my name in it afterwards. Well, now what I've done is I've actually changed the name of my channel. You may or may not have noticed, but it now just says Take One Tech with Alec, so it's still got my name in it. But that's meant I can just remove this logo, which was always just taking up space unnecessarily. So that's the other little tweak that I've done. What you're going to notice, by the way, as we go through all of these different things, is that none of these are major groundbreaking, changes. They're just sort of evolutions of what I'm doing and things that I'm trying to tweak a little bit. The other thing on the thumbnails that I've tried to be, and by the way, these aren't my ideas. These are me just realizing I was doing it wrong, having learned from other people like Doc, like Nick Nimmin, D Nimmin, all these sorts of people. Daniel Batal as well. I've been watching some of his stuff, getting some great ideas from there as well. So what I'm trying to do with these thumbnails, and I still might not be doing it right, is I'm trying to be a little bit more. I mean, these are pretty bad examples that I've got up here. But being, I mean, that one's just literally a short MV7 review, but I'm trying to do more sort of like teaser style titles. In fact, I've probably done these in a little bit more with my latest one. So I've got a series of videos going out where about shortcuts, which I haven't released them yet, but I'm doing them all as a whole series, and then I'll just dump them out so that one links into another. But I'll get onto that in a moment. But yeah, trying to have a little look at playing around with the titles, so that what I used to do was I would tend to have almost the same thing on the YouTube thumbnail as in the title. So the text that was on the thumbnail would almost be similar or the same as the title. So I'm trying to be a bit more conscious about not just replicating that and having it more of a little sort of hook. Now I am running these split tests, as you can see on these existing videos. And we'll see. The results are not totally in yet, although we have got some early results from them being running for a couple of days. So this one was changing two things really. I'm changing the title and the thumbnail itself, but you can see that this one, I got monetized, and this is how much I made, is doing better than YouTube money. I was trying to reduce the text there, but actually I suppose that's got that little hook of people want to know how much you've made. So this one, I mean, it's not looking good for my title so far. This one I figured would do better, because I did a stupid thing here. This was a play on words of the fact that the keyboard is called the iClever folding keyboard. So my thing was Who Clever? But that was a bit stupid really, and it wasn't funny, and nobody would have laughed in any case. But best folding keyboard obviously is more of a sort of hooky title, isn't it really? So yeah, that's no surprise to me that one's doing it a bit better. Studio build and complete studio build, not much difference there really. I don't know why I even stuck that extra word in, but that one's saying 0. Now I'm guessing that just hasn't had time for the results to propagate. So we'll have to wait and see how these things do over time. Now this video here, I was wrong about profiles. This is by far, like over double any other video, my best performing video. It's had about 10,000 views just on this one video, and which for me is good. It's all relative at the end of the day, but I don't think I've got another one that's over 5,000 for a single video. So I wanted to play around with this to see if I could do anything to make it better. So I did actually just leave the text the same, but just have it in this sort of new style. It's not looking like it's worked so far, but we'll have to wait and see. As you can see, this has been running till the 14th of February. So yeah, that is the way that is going. Now, if I just let me just have a little look at this. If I click on one of these, then it will take me through to some rather more in-depth analytics. And as I say, we've got to still leave this running. I'll just zoom out a little bit because that's the original. That's the updated thumbnail. You see, I should have really only changed one thing at a time, but I've changed the picture and the text and the style, but there you go. And then you get some details on the click-through rate, and then the number of impressions from one compared to another, the watch times. So that's interesting, the watch times per variation, not a huge amount of difference in there. Number of daily impressions of each of the versions, and the number of daily clicks, and then the total views, so an average view duration. So yeah, it's interesting to dig into this. I'm going to wait until all these tests have run and then do a little bit more of an analysis of it. Now that's interesting. That is a huge difference from the difference between suggested videos and browse features. So suggested videos of the original is actually double of the updated thumbnail. Whereas with browse, it's almost the opposite. So that's really interesting. Suggested videos, obviously people are already on your page. I wonder if that, just thinking aloud here, if that is anything to do with the fact that the style of it is different. Maybe it doesn't look quite the same, as they don't think it's the same, from me, but obviously they do because it's got my face on it. Forget I even said that. So anyway, that is just a little bit about what I have been doing with thumbnails. Now, I've just seen, Caleb, you're saying that suggested tends to be with more recent videos. It does. However, this is both for the same video. So it's saying that the suggested video with the original thumbnail as of the 14th of February or the 12th, whenever I started it, 14th, this one has done better as a suggested video. So I do get that they are... they tend to be more recent videos, but in this case it wouldn't make a difference because it is actually just a like for like split test. Yeah. Let's have a little look at what else. So that is about all actually for the thumbnails, though, in terms of the little tweaks. I'd be interested to know what you think. Do you think they look better the way they were or the way they are now? Again, not a huge difference, but I personally think that the text pops out a little better on them. Like I say, white on a yellow background was never the best choice. But anyway, I've also changed the color of blue that I'm using. So I was using this sort of teal color, but now I've just gone for a much deeper, darker blue color. So yeah, that is another thing that I've done to just try and help the text pop out of the screen a little bit when people are scrolling down. Because obviously the point of all of this is to try and get more clicks on the thumbnails from people who are whizzing down their YouTube page looking for what to stop on. So I'm going to play around with this. Once I've got this sort of nailed, then I'm going to go back and sort of update thumbnails. In fact, I've already started doing it, obviously, with these split tests, but just updating some of my previous ones. But I will get on to that in a moment as well. So the next thing that I've tried to do is look at the way that I'm making my titles. So I always before used to use TubeBuddy as my guide for this, because TubeBuddy recommends the 70 characters as the sort of target to go for. And so if you're less than 70 characters in TubeBuddy, you'll be missing out on one of the little check marks that tells you, you've done everything right. And by the way, if you're not familiar with TubeBuddy, I've got to say, TubeBuddy is kind of like my content upload coach, if you like, because it allows me to check all the details that I'm putting in, like my descriptions, titles, tags, things like that. You can also use the Keyword Explorer to look for keywords to use in your titles to sort of craft those a little better, which is something I've been doing a bit more intentionally as well. And then obviously the split testing that I was just talking about, that's all with TubeBuddy as well. So if you haven't tried it, definitely head over to takeonetech.io/TubeBuddy to get your free trial. If you're under 1,000 subscribers, by the way, on the regular package, which I think is around about $5 then a month, then you actually get 50% off with the, in fact, no, I think it's around about $8. Don't quote me on that. But you get 50% off if you've got less than 1,000 subscribers. So it's actually a really low cost way to start with it. And it's, it really just helps me, sort of coaches me through the whole process of uploading my videos. And again, all these other tools that I'm using. Oh, by the way, the find and replace, which is only available on the higher tiers, but that's really great if you want to go and update content within your descriptions and things like that. So yeah, got a lot of respect for TubeBuddy, and the link is down there as well. But yeah, the titles. So I've been using TubeBuddy to the Keyword Explorer to have a look at different titles, but I've also not actually been going for the 70 character limits. I forget who it was. One of those fine guys that I mentioned earlier was talking about the titles, and so I've actually tended to go for slightly shorter titles, but trying to be a little bit more again, have like a bit of a hook in them. So whereas before I would tend to write like a long sort of descriptive title of what is in the video, now I'm trying to have these things that are more like little hooks to get people enticed and intrigued as to what they're going to find out, although there's probably not a huge amount of surprise with the sort of stuff I cover. But nevertheless, that is what I have been trying to do. So that's just another little tweak that I've sort of added in terms of my workflow to try and do something a little bit different. I will obviously be still digging into the analytics to try and figure out what effect all of this sort of stuff is having. And the next thing that I've been doing, though, is my video intros. Now, when I did my intro to this live stream, I did have the regular, my little title intro sequence, whatever you want to call it. But I've just dropped that from my videos. So this little thing here I'm talking about. Because at the end of the day, nobody is coming to YouTube to watch title sequences. So the only thing that it is there for is it's kind of like... I suppose when I did it, I thought it made it look a little bit more professional or something like that, or made it give it a sense of branding or whatever. But at the end of the day, you know, if somebody is coming to a video to watch, to learn something, then that is just totally, you know, 10 seconds out of their day that they didn't need to lose. And if somebody is a real glutton for punishment and watches all of my videos, then over the life of the channel, that's quite a lot of time that I'm costing people by that. So, and there is definitely a sort of drop-off rate, you know, when people are watching and then they get to that, it's just giving them time to switch off basically and think like, not interested. So I've just dropped it because there are people who say that it's great and they liked it, and there are people who say that you know, it wasn't necessary. And by removing it, I'm not really upsetting anybody, because the people who thought it was good aren't going to be like really up in arms about it and saying, "Oh, I'm not watching this guy, he's taking his title out." So that's why it's gone. I have left it in my live stream just because it's a sort of ending to the countdown music. So it's got like a distinct sort of end to it then. So that if there is anybody who happens to be just listening in the background waiting for the thing to start, then it does sort of punctuate that starting point. And in any case, with the live stream, I have now taken Caleb's advice, and I've added in the timestamp for the end of that particular intro. And I've just added that into my default upload for my live streams, so that the timestamp, even if I don't have any other timestamps in the video, in the live stream video, then there is always that timestamp for like, this is the end of the intro. So if somebody can't be bothered to sort of skip forward or scrub forward, then they can just click on that. So I didn't think there was any need to sort of particularly remove it from here. So yeah, that is what I've been doing with my title intros. I've also been trying to so with removing that particular part of it, I've been trying to just sort of flow more directly into the content then. So I've removed a little bit of music that I had at the beginning. I always had a little bit of music going on in the background, then that would cut out when the titles went on. So I've just scrapped that all together. So it's basically, this is what I'm going to be covering. Right, let's get into it. So we'll see how that affects the drop-off rate at the beginning. And what do I mean by the drop-off rate? Well, let's have a little look, shall we? So if I just get that off the bottom of the screen, then if I come down to one of these videos that I have done that on, so there's a couple of shortcuts ones, or sneak peek. They're not uploaded yet or not live yet. But this one, for example, so this is the video that I did about the beta features. And then if you come down here into, where's it gone? Analytics for a video like this. Might just have to move this up a bit because it's sort of cropping off all the wrong parts for you. There we go. So with this one, if you come into the reach section, and I've just cropped off exactly the bit that I need to show you. There we go. That's better. If you come into a particular video and click on the reach, and then maybe I'll just zoom out this a little bit, and then you can come down here and I beg your pardon, it's not reach, it is engagement. Click on the right thing, Alec. So if I come down to engagement, and then this one here, audience retention. So here you can actually watch the video, and you'll see this chart moving across, and you'll see where people dropped out. This is like obviously starting from 100% of people who started watching at this point. Well, here there were only 71% of people watching. Then at this point, 49%, and then by the end, 23%. And you can see this tail off here. This is where people figure out that the video is ending. There is no more useful content to be gleaned, and so they're all just switching off. And so they switch off in that last little part there. So I'm going to be looking at this in more detail and looking at the ones that I've got with the titles and the ones without, but I'm pretty much sure that early information suggests that it's having a positive impact removing those titles. By the way, where you see it sort of jump up, that's where somebody's actually skipped to the chapter mark. So you can see that these little peaks are at a chapter marker. So somebody's obviously been watching and then just thought, right, let's skip to the next part, and so on. So yeah, I will be doing a lot more analysis on that. In fact, you can see here just already that this, I wish this thing would not come in the way of it, but that little grey shaded area underneath, that is what is typical for my videos. And so what you can see already is typical for my videos is that they drop off to around about here. Just down at this little grey patch, whereas this one hasn't dropped down as much, and that's because this one's taking the average of all those ones with those intros in, and so this is already performing better than that at the intro. Now it did tail off a little bit over here, but again, I'll have to look at this on a larger sample size than just one video, but certainly for me it seems to be logical and make sense. So that is what I've done with my intro. So what else have I been tinkering with? I've been trying out being a little bit faster paced. Now, I have lots of feedback that says that they like the pace that I do my videos at, and I've watched a couple of my early ones back, and I definitely did have a much sort of slower speaking pace then, and I think that was down to me trying not to like and all that sort of stuff. But I do feel like I've got a little bit better at just doing these things now, to the point where I am actually speaking faster in the later videos than in the earlier ones. Now, I'm not going to go crazy and start really speaking really quite quickly. see, I fluff it if if I do that. But what I mean by faster pace is I still want to make sure I'm giving all of the salient information related to what it is I'm talking about. But sometimes I do have a habit of just waffling about things and probably adding in information that isn't really relevant. Like a case in point would be, sometimes I'm talking about something that is, related to, I don't know, Stream Deck or something like that. And I'll give like a little bit of a story before it, like, oh, and I found out this the other week because I was doing this and that and this and that. It's just totally irrelevant to actually the content and the facts and the information that I need to deliver. So that thing about being faster paced is really about trying to be more concise with what I'm talking about, but without then just, cutting out the nonsense that sometimes slips its way in. The problem with doing these is with no editing is that sometimes that just happens. So I'm just trying to be a bit more intentional about it. But so yeah, slightly faster paced is something that I'm looking at. Now the end screens is something else. And we saw it there with that that sort of drop off. So if we have a look at the drop off that we got there at the end of that video, that's basically approaching the end screens. Now, one of the things that lots of people have said, and I've just picked up on it recently from a few different videos from the sorts of people that I mentioned. So the Nick Nimmins, the Daniel Batals, and of course my one and only coach, Doc. But it's all about how at the end of the video, really the best thing to do is, or what the intention that we want is to get people to click on another video and actually go and watch that other video. Now, I don't tend to put all of my, don't forget to like and subscribe, although now that I've mentioned it, it would be rude not to mention. If you haven't already, don't forget to go and like the video. And if you're not already a subscriber, then go ahead and subscribe, turn on notifications, all the notifications, have alarms go off every time I make a video. But I don't normally do that sort of stuff within the middle of my my videos. I tend to leave that all at the end, because my thought was, right, well, let's get all of the content out of the way, and then at the end I'll just, you know, do the little thing of, don't forget to like and subscribe. If you're really enjoying it, you can head over to my Buy Me a Coffee page, buymeacoffee.com/TakeOneTech, to support the channel on a one-off or ongoing basis. So that sort of stuff I always just sort of put right at the end. But obviously that is right at the time when people are switching off because they've figured out, right, it's done now. I would even announce that it's over. You know, I would say at the end, right, well, that's about all for this video, but before you go, kind of thing. So I'd do all of that stuff about the, you know, like and subscribe, buy me a coffee, that sort of stuff. And then finally, we would get onto the end screen where I'm wanting people to go and watch another video. The thing is, as we can see, whoops, I was already on it. As we can see, most people had already switched off by the time. In fact, let's just scrub this forward because we'll be able to see exactly where the end screen was. I even have a marker to say outro in my video, so people do know that it's actually ending. So I want to find out. I want to see if I can I just click on there? Hang on. So that is, what's the timestamp on that particular part? So here, people are already, even before I've got to my end screen, people have already switched off. So there we go. There is like 6% of people are watching my video when I am going to my end screen. So if I'm trying to get people to click through to the next video and there's only 6% of people watching, well, I would much rather be getting sort of, what's the percentage here? That's around about 23%. I'd rather get a percentage of 23% clicking through to the next video than this. So what I'm trying to do now is basically stop with the, you know, the long drawn out long goodbye and actually just sort of go straight in as almost part of the content without announcing that, like, right, all the content's over. So really just going straight into, you know, on so XYZ, and then also you want to watch this video here. I'm also playing around with trying to actually mention a specific video. And so I'd mentioned earlier that I've got a series of videos about shortcuts, for example. So they are currently sort of queued up. Well, some of them are. I've still got a couple to make, actually. But those are queued up. So I've got intro to shortcuts, how to build shortcuts, variables in shortcuts, and all these sorts of things. So these videos here, with the end screen, what I always used to do with the end screens, or what I still do, is I'd have two videos to choose from. One of them would be a playlist that is related to the video that the people have just watched. And then the top video of the two would always be just YouTube's recommendation. So let YouTube choose one, a video that's best for that person. So what I'm going to be doing now, where possible, if there is a next video that's logical, like in this series, I will be sort of having a link so that they go and watch the video 1, Introduction to Shortcuts. And then at the end of that, I'm saying, and in the next video, we're going to be covering how to build a shortcut. And that video is right here. So that sort of thing. And so I'm going to do, it'll be a series of about 7 or maybe 10 videos. And so one will just lead into the other because I'm trying to experiment with that a little bit. I quite like the way that I just happened to watch a Nick Nimmin video the other day, and I do this thing where I've got this full end screen, so that, again, it's a cue for people that, right, it's over. Nick has done this thing recently where he just totally flows straight into it without taking a breath almost from like the thing that he's talking about, and then now you definitely want to go and watch this video. And there's no sort of end screen to it as such. It's just there's one video that comes up on the screen. So I'm probably going to play around with that as well. So rather than having a two choices, because, you know, I build sales funnels and things like that, and I know that you need to give people basically one choice, and do they want it or not is the best way to sort of guide people through. So on the end screen, and something somebody mentioned as well was I do have a subscribe button that comes up. So I have the 2 videos that come up where I say check out these videos, and then there's a little thing that comes down over where I am on the screen, and then there's the subscribe button comes up, and so that's something that I may well just remove because try and get people to subscribe through the video and then not have this confusion of there's 3 options, which one do they click on when they get to the end. So I'll be playing around with that a little bit more as well. So that is what I'm doing differently, or going to try and do differently with my end screens, and I'll report back on how that goes in terms of click-throughs to other videos. And let's see if we can improve that a little bit. The next thing I've changed is my Ecamm style, only ever so slightly. All of these things are just tweaks. They're not like massive redesigns or something like that. But I had my original overlays, which were graphic overlays stuck over the top of the scenes with like a border. Obviously, before the Ecamm 3.9 came out, where we could do borders on camera overlays and all that sort of stuff. And when that came out, I sort of updated my style a little bit, and it's one of those things where it looked good at the time, but I've just felt like I don't like it. So I've just changed it up a little bit. It's not massively different, but I've just changed it up ever so slightly and tried to bring everything all in line with each other so that the thumbnails are cohesive with the just the little silly things like the background in the back of here and all that sort of stuff. Not a revolution and not a award-winning design by any stretch, but still just a little tweak that I've done, so I thought I'd mention it. So the next thing is old videos. So I've obviously got over 200 videos now, and they've just been sitting there, and so I figured, well, I should really try and see if there's anything I can do to sort of refresh them or update them. And so there's 2 things I mean by that. The first is actually going back, and obviously what I've been doing with the split testing is very much about that. It's taking an old video and then going back and updating the thumbnail to see if I can improve things in terms of click-through rate and stuff like that, because, as I say, some of these old videos do actually sort of quietly in the background, without me realizing it, creep up and get quite a lot of views. In fact, let's just have a look, shall we, if you want to know what my sort of best performing videos are. If I come over to this one, where is it? There we go. I'll come over to this view. Now, if I go to views over here, and then I sort by views, there you go. So there is that one. That's 9,500, not quite 10,000. I lied earlier. 9,500 for that one about Stream Deck profiles. And then this one as well. So this is for Downey. So that is my next highest performing. So you can see that basically that one about Stream Deck profiles and why I think they were better than folders, having used folders for so long on Stream Deck. That one has got significantly more views than these ones down here. So 3,000 is, or 3,000, 4,000 is my next highest. That is about Downey downloading videos from YouTube or from anywhere, in fact. Stream Deck, and that one is a bit of a funny one as well that I would not have expected. Troubleshooting on a little Logitech presenter, because I made a video about the Logitech presenter and how you can use it for Ecamm to switch scenes and stuff like that, and then also use it for triggering keyboard maestro and the like. And then I had somebody that went out and bought one, and then they contacted me and said, oh, I've got a bit of a problem and I can't figure out how to get it to work. It doesn't seem to work on a Mac. So I made a video about that, and that is, up there. That's what, top 5, something like that. It is video number 6. So it's amazing the videos that you think are just kind of like, that was literally just answering someone's question, and then there it is up at the top. So yeah, so what I'm thinking is, well, if I can go back and improve on some of these, then that would be a great thing to do to try and boost the views and things like that on those existing videos. Oh, by the way, the other thing that I did was in TubeBuddy. Once again, link just down at the bottom. That's another thing I'm trying to be more intentional about, is actually promoting affiliate links and things like that. So they've got this thing down here called the Click Magnet. And what this does is there's a few things here you can study with the coming back to thumbnails, but it is relevant to this thing about updating old videos as well. It does take a little moment to load up, but there's a few different things you can do through in here. There's one which is Element Inspector, and this shows you the performance of your thumbnails based on whether they have faces or not. Now, all of mine have got my face in, whether that's a good thing. I need to really test some without it to get a good comparison here. This one is really interesting. This is the emotions on your face. So here you can see that surprised YouTube face does actually have a higher click-through rate than happy and calm. I haven't got any ones with sad faces in. I need to try that. I need to be really upset about something. Or just really angry. So we'll see if there's anything that angers me. The thing is, not many things really truly anger me. So I'll have to work on that one. But yeah, you can see that basically these different expressions, it is definitely the good old YouTube surprise face that has the highest click-through rate. So that's a great little tool. There is here, you can see the difference between close-up, mixture of multiple faces, or just one close-up, medium shot, or long shot. So people prefer to look at me from a distance, and I don't blame them. So that's something to play around with as well. Try some like ultra zoomed in pictures as well. Although I don't think I want to inflict that on my viewers. Text versus no text. Well, all of mine have got text. This one's interesting. Words in titles. So anything that's got new in performs best. So this is to actually, Keely mentioned it about when I'd got a video which was new beta features, and the comment was, well, aren't all beta features new? And that is totally true. But I leave the word new in just because, yeah, there's a much higher percentage click-through with things with the word new in them. The other one is free. I haven't actually got one in the most recent video, so I don't think this is looking at all of them. But if you got something with the word free in as well, that did well on some of them when I had that in. I think this takes, is it all of my videos or just the last few? I can't just remember. But in any case, so that is the element inspector. However, I digress, because what I really wanted to show you was this one here, the click-through rate opportunities. So this one is going to show you, I have covered this on my live stream before, but it is relevant to the sort of way that I've gone about things with my split testing. This is going to show you basically where there is an opportunity to improve upon your click-through rate, where you've got something where, say, the video has got good engagement once people actually get onto the video, but the click-through rate is low. So here the opportunity is saying for this one is very high. So once people actually got to watch it, they seem like they stayed and watched it till the end. However, the click-through rate is really poor on it. So this one was the recording of when I was a guest on Alison Sheridan's podcast. Really delighted to be on that podcast, by the way. Long-time fan of Alison. But the thumbnail isn't performing, and it says chatting with Alison Sheridan on the thumbnail, and then the title is guesting on Alison Sheridan's Chit Chat Across the Pond podcast. So I could probably give that a much more enticing title, because basically what I covered on that was my kind of workflow and how I create all of my videos. So it was somebody interviewing me about my sort of workflow. So I'll go through and just have a little think about a better title for that, because as you can see, as click-through rates, this is all relative, obviously. I'm sure there's some people who have, you know, massive click-through rates and some people who are average at a lower rate. But for me, 1.8 is abysmal as a click-through rate on a thumbnail. So I could probably really tweak that and give it a bit more of a constructive title, and then that would benefit the video and also benefit, hopefully, Alison's podcast as well. So that's what this CTR opportunities tool on TubeBuddy does. It allows you to see where there is a high opportunity for improving on the video, because it's got a good engagement once people get there, but people just aren't getting there like they probably should. So now this one, I've actually changed my thumbnail and the title as well. So YouTube Studio Build with Acoustic Panels. That was a TubeBuddy Keyword Explorer result that I got. So previously I had something else. It was like it was just a long waffly title in true Alex style. But if you come down into TubeBuddy and then click on Keyword Explorer, then you can basically just type it in. So what was that I just said? YouTube Studio Build with Acoustic Panels. And I wanted the acoustic panels thing in there because that was like really one of the key features of this, and I sort of spent a lot of time talking about what I had done with building those and how I sort of built them. I should probably do a completely separate video. But here you can see you've got this sort of score for that as a title. So the score was excellent. The search volume was good. The competition was middling. But compared to the old title, I can't remember what it was, but my old title was down here in the orange. So that's something else I've been doing, is just going back and tweaking the existing videos. So when I talk about like my old videos, it's just sort of not forgetting them and just carrying on with this march towards my 365 videos and kind of like forgetting the old videos once they're done. It's trying to be a little bit more proactive about keeping those things alive and up to date. Now, there's another point which Doc mentioned to me the other day, which was about, obviously, there are some of my videos that are just simply out of date now because there have been updates to software and things like that that can just be totally remade. So I will be sort of having a look at which ones are candidates for that and remaking those videos. Case in point is Ecamm, because obviously Ecamm is just continually updating. One of my best performing videos is also that 4-hour Ecamm Live start to finish tutorial that I did, but that was in 3.8, so that could probably be cut down to like 2 hours now to cover exactly the same thing, to start from zero and build it all up. And it included making the icons for Stream Deck and all this sort of stuff and linking that all together. But that could be considerably shorter now with just all of the advances that there are in Ecamm. So I had intended to remake that with 3.9, but then at the end of last year was very busy, and so has been the beginning of this year. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to wait for the 3.10 to drop, because obviously there's loads of great features that are in the beta. So I will be doing a video all about the new features in 3.10, but then I will also do that complete sort of start to finish of Ecamm as well. I'm also going to do that in basically as one long video, because there are people who really appreciated having a 4.5-hour video, believe it or not, that they could watch from start to finish and know that they've got everything. Whereas when stuff's cut down into smaller little chunks, then sometimes they're not really sure if they've seen everything in the video or not. So what I'll probably do is make like one long one, but then I'll always also just make sort of shorter videos as well as a series, with one leading into another. So having those end screens where it just clearly goes from one to the other. So that, I think, is more or less what I've done with the with my channel and sort of the way I've been thinking about it. So I will just give you a quick update, because it's around about that time. I'll give you a quick update on my channel analytics. But this is basically just my update on my 365 videos in a year, which I always used to do this little update at the beginning of my video, because it was part of the live stream for me, really, was just to give my update towards my goal. But now I'm just going to stick it at the end of this main content and just go over it a little bit. So week 40, day 3, we're not day 365, we are on day 281, and it is and I've done 204 videos, so some catching up to do. But I have got these, like the series of shortcuts videos that are going to be going out in sort of one bulk, and then my Ecamm video. So I'm quite confident actually that I'm going to hit my goal. I did just hit another milestone today, actually. I don't put my views and watch hours and stuff like that up on here anymore, but I did just hit 100,000 views, which on my videos in total, which does kind of boggle my mind. Any of these numbers do really still amaze me, because it isn't something that necessarily I took for granted when I was starting. Obviously, you've got hopes and dreams, but it is it's still quite mind-boggling to think of that number of times that my videos have been watched. Although probably 50,000 of those might be my parents, who knows? My parents and my daughter. But that is all I've got to cover today, actually. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to actually dig into the comments. So that is essentially the content over. Feel free to leave, he said, trying to get people to stay on for that little bit longer. But that is basically where I'm up to. So let me have a look at the comments, because I've been neglecting you somewhat, and it was all to try and stop my little squirrel mind going off. So hey Caleb, I did see you sneak in and mentioned you a couple of times as well. Hey Rich, great to see you as well. Naughty Michael, late to class. I'm still so excited to see your live stream whenever you are ready to launch with Tommy. That's going to be such a great thing to watch, and you've done such a great job with the graphics as well. And the animations you've done as well are pretty spectacular. So they should go up on the channel as well. Hey, Dina, great to see you. Let's have a little look. Facts feels more personal. You see, this is the trouble with going through all these afterwards. You sort of forget where you're at. His name is Sean, so that is from Think Media. Yes, it's Sean something or other. All the wrenches are in today. Yes, my humor, that's the way to look at it. My humor is too sophisticated. So my stupid little jokes that I do on my thumbnails and things like that, it's just goes over everyone's heads, I'm sure. So like the new look. Thank you very much, Rich. Not a huge departure and still on brand. Well, that's it really. It was just about sort of evolving a little bit and tweaking. And to be honest, these sorts of tweaks that I've done are all the sorts of things that the old perfectionist of me would have tried to nail before I got right, and I still haven't got them right. The old me would have still been tweaking over all of these things and not actually having made any videos. So that was the point of the channel really. It was liberating myself from perfectionism and just sort of going with it. So I was never really happy with anything that I'd been doing on YouTube or with the look of it or anything. Never happy about it, but I was happy not being happy about it. And that was the difference between the old me. Let's have a look. Oh, hey, Eileen. Always lovely to see you. That is, I'm guessing, about the little title thing, and that is something I've thought about as well. So I have seen people do that, and where they actually still have the little title thing to, I'm guessing, stroke their ego a little bit, but then just have it running in the corner or something like that. So I think I'll probably just skip it altogether because it's unnecessary. But it is I've seen people do that as well. Hey, Sammy, great to see you as well. You can also check in your wording it before the end of your video. You are giving them early cue that you are wrapping up. So that is what I always do at the end of my videos. Like the actual outro of YouTube is that 20 seconds. So that's where I have that sort of end screen up. But I'm wrapping up like 2 minutes before, telling everyone, right, well, that's it. Party's over. Show's over, guys. Nothing to see here. And then dragging that out, everybody out. And then I get to that 20 seconds at the end and telling people, hey, watch this, guys. It's all a bit backwards, really, isn't it? So, I definitely need to work on that. There is the obviously you can go at 2-speed, and I tend to watch a lot of things on 2-speed, to be honest. It's just I prefer to just get things in that way, obviously depending on who it is. If I'm listening to a Jim Rohn audiobook, it's triple speed. He does speak that slow. So I do that, but it's the pace is about setting the general pace of the video for people who are just coming in, because although people can technically speed it up, they're only going to speed it up if they've come in and they feel like they're going to get that information further on down the line. And so there's people that I will listen to or watch, and I know that they're going to have great information in their videos. So I'll watch it on double speed because I know that I am going to, get value from it, and I just want to get in all of that information. But if people are new to me and my channel, they're not going to think like, oh, this guy's taking too long. Let me see what it's like on double speed. They'll be, I'm guessing, for the most part, just not interested. It'll just be a turn off. So the story time and rants, it's I'm not going to totally give up on that because, as you say, it is a part of my personality, and it just does whatever I do on these videos just come out. So it's just been a bit more intentional about that in my videos. Like if I'm talking about a Stream Deck video on why people should use profiles instead of folders, I don't need to spend a whole section at the beginning giving some whole background to me and what I've done and all these sorts of things. So there's just certain videos where I have been waffling a bit too much. But it's not like I'm going to be just totally I certainly won't be scripted, but you know what I mean. I'm not going to be just so totally on rails with it, but because it will just slip out. That is the nature of doing these things in just without editing. Although I did edit my last video, I had to cut a bit out because I made a little mess up. So I had to I had to just stop it, and then I recorded a new ending to it and stuck them together. But I don't think people noticed. Hey, James, great to see you. Thank you very much as well. Let's have a little look. Hey, James. Hey, Doc, great to see you. I hope everything goes well. And you'll have to update your avatar to remove the glasses. Although you could just do a Bradley. What's his name? I'm forgetting his name now. Bradley Teaches. I'm forgetting his surname. Oh, that's terrible. I remember seeing him though on somebody else's live stream. Was it on? I can't remember whose show he was on. He was on somebody's show, and they opened it up for questions. And somebody said to Bradley, "How do you avoid getting glare on your glasses?" And he took his glasses off and put his fingers through them because there was no frames in them. So it was just part of his branding, and he didn't actually have lenses in his glasses. So that was quite amusing. And I think that he had the same. I think he had glasses, then he went and had surgery, and so he just kept the frames. But yeah, hope everything goes all right. So you always get surprised by the videos that got the most views in the past 24 hours and 28 days. That it is funny how some of them ones that I've done that have got a lot of views seem like they've just sat there doing nothing, and then there's just been this slight point where they've just had an inflection where obviously there's just somebody's grabbed onto them, and or the YouTube algorithm has just started serving them out a bit more, and yeah, they've just gone up. It's funny. It is funny how the gems come from the videos you don't expect to make. It's also like with these live streams, sometimes I've in the past I've come on and said like, oh, I'm not really got much. It's going to be a short one today, and then it just goes on for ages and ages. So yeah, it is definitely the ones you don't expect, and it is those videos where I've done ones before where I thought this was terrible. I don't really feel comfortable about even putting it out, and I have. I think there's 2 videos before that I've made where I just haven't put them out because I don't know. It's just I just didn't. Yeah, it is funny, those ones, the ones that you're not so comfortable about are the ones that work. Yeah, the affiliate links. Yeah, well, I've updated my little lower third as well, so that I've actually got my I'll do it now. My next live stream, I'm going to go through and talk about what I did in terms of setting up those affiliate links, because I've now got my I've still got to work on this, by the way. I've only got as far as setting it up, really. I haven't gone and curated it, but I've got my gear list. So kit.co, takeonetech.io/kit, and that'll take you to my kit.co page where the thing about that's good, because I did always have a gear page on my website, takeonetech.io/gear, where I was going and basically manually adding in things that I was using, and then it was just a bit of a pain to update as well, so it hasn't really been updated, and those would be my Amazon affiliate links. The thing about kit.co is you can and I know a number of you in the chat have got it already, and obviously Doc was the one that told me about it, but you can create individual sets of gear and things like that. So you might have, your live streaming gear, but then the example I used was Dina. She might have cooking gear, but then she might also have a cooking kit list as well. A cocktail kit list. So you could have like multiple different kits of all the stuff you use, but it's sort of curated into those different lists. I've only got one up there at the moment, and I need to add in a few more. But the other thing about that is you can also use your Genius link for links, so that when people click on an affiliate link, instead of going through to Amazon, they actually get the choice of, do they want to get it from Amazon? Do they want to get it from B&H? Although I was rejected from a B&H affiliate, or whatever it is. And so you can add in multiple different affiliates through one link, and then the viewer, the user, whoever it is clicking the link, they get to choose where they're buying it from, rather than just you just forcing them down the Amazon route, if that's not something that is interesting to them. Yeah, definitely working on my affiliate links, and yeah, I'm definitely teachable because I've got a hell of a lot to learn. So I would be pretty hopeless without a bit of guidance. So thanks for all that you do, Doc. And let's have a little look. Your video descriptions are stuffed with them, maybe too many. So the affiliate links, that was something that I added in using TubeBuddy's Find and Replace feature, because I didn't have them in there. I used to only use affiliate links when I mentioned a specific product in the video. So I'd say, I was talking about whatever it was, this little presenter, I'd say, oh, the link's in the description. And now that I know, actually it is, because I've got links to all of my stuff in the bottom. Yeah, so that I only would have like 1 or 2 links. But now what I did was I used the find and replace function in TubeBuddy to go and do a find and replace, and basically replace the last little bit of text that I used to have in my sort of stock description text, and then added in all of those affiliate links for all those Amazon links for the gear that I use. And I did see a massive uptake in the or uptick, I should say, in the number of people clicking on those links. It was like tenfold from just having those in, because I'm guessing people come and watch a video, they read the description, and then it's like, hey, here's the gear that I'm using to make these videos, or whatever it is. And so there's a bit of interest there, and they go and look, click on a link, and go and have a look at whatever it happens to be on Amazon. And obviously the way that works is you get credit even if they don't actually buy the product you've linked to. I'm not sure what the time frame for that is, whether it's within 24 hours, whether it's within that session on Amazon. I can't just remember offhand. Somebody did tell me once, but I can't remember. But it shows, because the majority of things that I've had people buy through my Amazon links have not actually been the things that I'd given them links to. So they are basically going into Amazon and buying something else, but I'm still getting the credit for it. So I think that having the links in the description is it certainly seems to have paid off for me in that respect. And like within the first month, the revenue from Amazon was equal to the amount that it costs for TubeBuddy Legend, which is around about $45 or $50 a month. Can't remember exactly. But that was in TubeBuddy Legend. You've got that find and replace feature. So for me, it kind of like, it literally paid for the feature itself. So that was interesting. So you know what, Eileen, this is a really good point. Why don't I put Alison's thumbnail on the picture instead of mine? And this was something that Doc was talking about with an interview that he was doing, and it was a case of, well, we don't need our picture on it, have the interview guest. And that is exactly what I will do with that thumbnail for Alison, because my thinking with these, in my old thinking, was I just wanted to be consistent, and so that people can recognize it's me. But they'll recognize it's me because it's the channel name and the style of the thumbnail. So yes, I'll do that when I update the title and everything. You are just stating a possible good title in revamping. I'm not sure. I'm missing the context. That's the problem with going up and catching up on these. YouTube Studio is the name of an app. I would try using YouTube Recording Studio. I see what you mean. Yeah. So, yeah, I did think about that because of it being the name of the app. So where that video title was YouTube Studio Build, I did think about the potential confusion there. That's a great point, Eileen. I ended up leaving it. So it is something I considered, but I ended up leaving it just because I thought, well, if it says YouTube Studio Build, it's sort of implied, and then it's just keeping it short. But I'll definitely split test that, because that would make more sense to people, so that we won't get people who are searching for YouTube Studio. In fact, we could go and actually just have a look at it on keyword search. So I'll check that out. Thank you very much. Hey Dale, great to see you. I never forget your name, by the way, because that's the name of my son. So I appreciate you putting it in the comment, but I'll always remember your name. Loved the tutorial. Watched it a few times. Oh, the Ecamm tutorial was that the 4.5 hour marathon. I'm guessing it's close. By the way, if anyone fancies coming on and chatting about any of this, you're more than welcome. I'm guessing 3.1 is pretty close. I can't wait to see. I mean, we haven't even got 3.10. I can't wait to see what's in 4, because you'd think like a major release as opposed to these dot releases, because each one of these dot releases, to be honest, could have been a full new version. They've just got so many great new features. That's right, beta. Full walkthrough requires a long video. Yeah, so I know that from when I was trying to learn Ecamm, and I couldn't find somewhere where there was just like one whole thing. I didn't obviously go down the academy route, which would have probably given me that. But just looking around on YouTube, there was like little bits all over the place. But it was a case of where's the one place that I can go to get a start to finish overview of everything. I mean, I did usually, obviously, I did do my thing of just trying it first and going through all the menus and stuff like that. But yeah. Oh, thank you for the 100,000 views. Thank you very much. It is it's quite phenomenal. In 7 months, is it? I can't remember now. Started in mid-May, so 7-8 months. Thank you very much, Rich. Thank you very much, Eileen, as well. Perhaps the drop-off is because the fans have already seen them. So I'm guessing that means at the end of the video. Yeah. So if that's the bit at the end of the video. So the point about that is that I'm basically winding up the video long before I'm even telling people about the next video that I want them to watch. So what I need to be just more intentional about is just sort of going from the content into, hey, watch this one next. And in my shortcuts series, you'll notice that there's no sort of pause between, we're doing this is how to do this part, this is how to do this part, and the next part you want to watch is coming up right now. So it's that kind of flow to it, as opposed to this whole kind of, right guys, we're done now, nothing to see here, and then just tail it off until I say, oh, wait, before you go, watch this video. So, yeah. I didn't talk about that here, actually, Keely. No, but yeah, I have added these links in at the bottom. So yeah, that was part of the things that I changed with Ecamm. So I sort of mentioned that briefly, but yeah, it was just a case of being a bit more intentional with those. The other thing that I did is when I was doing my little setup videos that I did, the last couple of videos have been about setup. So I always mention setup and how they can get, use my affiliate link. In fact, now would be a good time to say setup is a great application. It's actually a subscription service that allows you to get access to over 200 great utility style apps for the Mac. And you just pay one monthly fee of $9.99. And then you can basically just have this extra standalone app store on your Mac where you can just choose any of these apps, download them. If you try them, you don't like them, you can always offload them. And the great thing about it is you get to try all of these apps that you perhaps otherwise wouldn't have tried, and you maybe wouldn't have downloaded. But the fact that you can just download stuff as you need it is great. And I use so many of these, and so that's why I've got a whole series of videos on setup on my channel. So setup is definitely a great thing to try, and you can try it at takeonetech.io/setup. You'll get the same 7-day free trial as everyone else. However, if you do sign up afterwards, having used my affiliate link, then when you sign up, you'll get a free month and I'll get a free month. So everybody is happy. So in my videos about setup, which I've done the last couple of videos, as well as having that little pitch thing that I do in the middle of it, then I also have just had my affiliate link on the screen as well. So I am trying to be a bit more intentional about having my affiliate links over on the just during the videos as well as the live stream. But yeah, updated this. I felt like the one that I had at the bottom before was just a bit cluttered, and it probably still is, but at least it's cluttered with affiliate links. So yeah, let's have a little look. So Caleb, I'm losing context for this. I think it's complicated, but finding the right balance in being with those live and thinking of those that will watch the replay. But then again, it's a live stream. Yeah, so yeah, it's definitely, this is about the changes that I'm making to this stream with just actually delivering content is obviously I'm taking a leaf out of Doc's book and trying to just be a bit more intentional, because I always feel with my live streams that they are just like totally rambling, and I'll start with an idea in mind. My early ones weren't, but that's because nobody was watching, so they had to just have a structure to them, and I'd go through and I'd have like something that I covered on it. But yeah, the early ones no one was watching, so I just did them pretty much like a longer form video. So I'm trying to get back to that, but yeah, it is a balance. So we'll have to see how it goes. Hello, Timothy. I don't think I've had the pleasure before, but great to see you here. hello and welcome. Let's have a little look. Just did that example a few minutes ago, saying that's what you're saying how you're going to answer those live. So that will give the replay squad a possible cue to leave. Yeah. Yeah, I'm being as well with my timestamps. My timestamps will have obviously the little sections that I've done in this, so I will go back and put those in. But then also when actually it is ended in the sort of the sort of end wrap up, if you like. C3PO having a stroke on 2 times would be mind-blowing. It would actually probably be much the same. Still quite motionless. And by the way, that was something that kind of spurred this whole kick up the arse, if you like, of me doing this, was because I never take my comments to heart. And the comments that I got on my videos are generally almost always really nice, positive, and it's a really great part of making videos. But occasionally there is one. I've had one that some guy said, geez, this guy just rambles on and on and on. So, it's a fair point, I do. And then there was another guy that that said, which is what Rich is referring to, skip to 4 minutes in if you don't want to watch 4 minutes of C3PO having a stroke. Which made my day as a comment. And then Doc said, yeah, but he's got a point, because I do tend to ramble at times, not get into the content. So that was what was really, I've been wanting to get rid of that little title sequence for ages now. It was just such a muscle memory that I just press this button on Stream Deck, it starts recording. I press this button and it goes through to my titles and then goes into my next scene. It was just too comfortable, really. So I just needed to shake it up a little bit and sort myself out. But it was that comment that kind of spurred it. Intent and purpose. Yes, I believe a great man once had that on a t-shirt. That's it, Bradley Vincent. I was just blanking on his name there, but yeah. Oh, everyone's saying it now. I can see. I'm just catching up. This is how far back I am in the comments. Bradley Vincent. Yeah, he's great. Hey, Greg. Great to see you. Good morning. What did I miss? I tell you what, I'll go back to the beginning. What I was talking about was tweaks that I've been doing on my channel, and I've been trying to be a little bit more intentional about the way that I'm doing things. And from when I say intentional, I mean intentional about growing the channel. That's the thing, is intentional about growing the channel, because I felt like I was just sort of the channel is growing by the nature of the fact that I'm making content. But yeah, I did feel like I was just sort of cruising a little bit and not really doing anything different. So it was just a case of make a video, put it out, make a video, put it out. No real sort of changes or innovation. So I'm just trying to just tweak things a little bit and change it up. But I'm also changing the live streams because I'm being a bit more intentional about doing that block of content at the beginning, like Doc, and then having the catch up at the end. Hey, Anna, great to see you. Thank you very much. Let's have a little look. You love the soft music in the background of the setup mid-roll. I've got a few of those up my sleeve. Of course. Where did I get that music from? Is that the question you're asking? Where on earth did I get that music from? Well, I use Epidemic for my music. Oh, look at that. I haven't even got music on the back of my Epidemic one. Oh, hang on. No, I have. There it is. I use Epidemic Sound for my music, so I know that I'm never going to get copyright strikes. And if you want to get access to thousands and thousands of tracks and sound effects, then head over to takeonetech.io/epidemic and get your free trial there. And you never have to worry about copyright strikes again. Yeah, I need to up the volume of the music in the back of that round. But thank you very much, Keely. Thank you very much. Very good point. Yes, don't forget to like and subscribe if you haven't already. So what am I going to be doing this week? Well, I still have got a couple of more videos to be doing for my my shortcuts app series. so there's going to be, I've got a 7 at the moment. It might stretch out to 10, something like that. But yeah, because we've now got shortcuts as part of the beta on Ecamm Live, so that you can now trigger shortcuts from like when you start Ecamm and things like that. I thought it'd be good to just give people sort of an intro to it. And I'll be honest, I've been sleeping on shortcuts for, well, however long it's been on Monterey, so not really that long. But I just haven't dug into it because I have got Keyboard Maestro is just such a part of my, automation workflow. So I tend to just always revert to that. But we have also got shortcuts, obviously, on iOS, and I have got shortcuts on there. Yeah, I do really need to just get more use out of it on the Mac. And so this has been the opportunity with the Ecamm integration to really just sort of dig into it. There is also a Stream Deck plugin for shortcuts. It's not made by Apple. It is a third-party one, but it works seamlessly. So you just press the button and it will just trigger whatever shortcuts you want. In fact, let me just tell you about that rather than just tease you with it. I can show you what it's called because, yeah, it has been pretty good. If I just come over to my Stream Deck window for a moment. There we go. There's my Stream Deck. And in the Stream Deck store, and that's obviously open somewhere completely different. If you come into plugins and then, where is it? Here, shortcuts. That one there. So by Sentinelite is the name of the developer. And they've got a Discord server as well, by the way. So I went in there because I saw this shortcut action. And all it does, by the way, is it just sits down here in, let's have a little look, there it is, launch shortcut. And so all you do is you just drag it on and then you just choose the shortcut that you want to activate. So it's just got your list of shortcuts. But when you open it up, it has actually got a link to their Discord. So I went in and joined their Discord. So that's nice. I'm all in on the Discord now since Keely has converted me. And by the way, that is Keely as in Discord for creators in the chat. So if you are a creator and wanting to use Discord or haven't considered it but want to know why you absolutely should, then definitely check out Discord for creators. I'll leave a link to that in the description as well. Yeah, that's a great little plugin. So yeah, just going through the process. Obviously, I've been building shortcuts in iOS, and so on Mac it's the same process. The only thing that's different on the Mac is that you can actually do Apple script and things like that. And the other thing is, if you've got automator actions already built and automator scripts and things like that, then you can also actually import those. So if you've got stuff built in Automator, you can import it. And I don't know about the total compatibility. I can't say that everything's absolutely going to work depending on what you've sort of built in there. But as far as I can make out, it is quite does work to just sort of import them, because Automator is obviously what we had on the Mac for a number of years for doing automation tasks. And so I've built stuff in Automator as well. At some point, I don't know whether that's going to get sort of like end of life, or they're going to sort of integrate it totally with shortcuts. But shortcuts is basically doing exactly, the sorts of things that that Automator was doing. So they're just bringing that sort of parity, I guess, between the Mac and the iOS devices. So yeah, if you've got stuff in Automator, then having a look at how that might be able to translate into shortcuts might be an interesting idea. And obviously, you may have stuff built in Automator that could technically work on iOS as well. So that would be another great reason to move it over to shortcuts, because then it would just sort of sync across. Let's have a little look what Caleb is saying. Plug in card. What will the video be called for the in-depth explanation? I'm lost with that one. Let me have a little think. Plug in card. What will the video be called for the in-depth explanation? I'm lost on that one, I'm afraid. Yes, you need an affiliate program. I need Take One Tech / Discord for creators. Oh dear. No, we don't. I'm not going to say anything. We know somebody mentioned that the other day, so I'm not going to bring that up. I said I was going to make a video explaining it on Shorts. So Shortcuts app is the thing that I'm talking about. I think, I don't know if shortcuts. Yeah, so the shortcuts app. Well, basically, let me have a little look. They are sort of queued up. So it will be a series of videos. These ones, because they are a series, if I just come over to here, look at the date, and this one. So I've got a couple of them. I'm putting in the descriptions, but this one is, because it's a series, I'm actually just doing it as my, I suppose, slightly more traditional style titles. So it is basically, you know, shortcuts, beginner's guide, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, that sort of thing. And so these ones haven't gone out yet, but it's a introduction to shortcuts, how to build shortcuts. Next one isn't actually up there yet, but it's made is setting variables, working with variables, working with images in shortcuts, working with notes in shortcuts, integrating Stream Deck with shortcuts, all of those sorts of things. So the titles will be just beginner's guide 1 to 10, or 1 to. I've actually got 7 at the moment, but I might be able to squeeze another 3 out of it because there's a few things that have cropped up recently. So that is what those will be. Those will be called, and they're going to be just regular long form videos. That's funny. They're both exactly, well, more or less 17 minutes 28 and 17 minutes 32. So that seems to be about the length of them. Let's have a little look. Hey Aubrey, great to see you. Always great to see Aubrey. Let me have a look. Have I still not got this right? After making a video, you can add cards into your YouTube video, linking the video. That's what I was referring to. You can after. I'm still a little bit lost on that. After making a video, you can add cards into your YouTube video, linking the. I'm a bit slow on the uptake. Quite regularly. When I make these videos, I'm talking about something I know, but often I'm like a little bit slow, so don't mind me. I don't know if it's you or me, Caleb. It might very well be me. Stranger things have happened. Yeah, still not getting to that. So you. Talking about okay, we're out, we're done. We're done. Good night, Chief. No problem. So next week I'm going to be trying to finish that list of shortcuts. I think what I might do for my live stream next week, because I am being a bit more intentional about planning these out as well. Obviously this one I did make a few little slides, little pop-up titles, because I was thinking about this from over the week and thinking about what I was going to say. That's the other thing that I've been a bit lax and a little bit disrespectful to all of you lovely people turning up, because I'd find that, like, this is obviously my Saturday morning, and so Friday evening at 5 o'clock I'd think, crap, I've got a live stream tomorrow, what am I going to talk about? And then just put something up there as a title, and then I'd just go rambling off. So definitely being more intentional about it. I'm thinking that I might cover the affiliate stuff next week. The things that I've done to monetize the channel from the beginning, and the things that I've done differently now, because I have done a couple of videos about this, but things have changed slightly, so I might do that. I also had somebody that commented on on one of my videos, and it was a video that I did. In fact, it was the live stream after week 1 of being on YouTube. So my first video on YouTube was a live stream, live to nobody. And then I had like a week of videos, and then I did my live stream at the end of week 1. And that live stream was all about my sort of one-take video production workflow. And so people are still watching that, even though it was, a live stream, and it was from, May last year. So people do still watch the replays of these. So that just goes to show that. But the chap, I forget his name now, but the chap asked it would be interesting to revisit this this subject of the one-take video production. So I might concentrate on that on one of the live streams as well. Either maybe not the one next week, but maybe the one the week after or something like that. And the reason for me doing it, how I do it, and things that I've learned from doing it for, however many videos I've done. So that will perhaps be another little topic there. Hey, Carly, great to see you. And so that's pretty much what I am going to be thinking about next week. And I think with that, I'm going to keep this nice and concise, and hour and 20 minutes. I'm going to wrap it up. So what have I just done? I have just totally done the thing that I said that I wasn't going to do. Never mind. I should be just going straight into my little outro scene, shouldn't I? Well, anyway, thank you all for coming along. I'm not going to dither around for any longer, and I'm going to say, if you are watching on the replay, of course there will be some great videos coming up right now over on the right hand side, but for me that is it. Over and out. See you soon somewhere on the internet.